But let's understand this. Ben Simmons has not played 160 basketball games in the National Basketball Association. So anytime you are critiquing a player as if he's a 10 or 12-year player, yes, this is his third year in professional basketball. His first year, he did not play because he was watching due to a broken foot. So you cannot expect someone to develop as they rehab. Rehab is one thing, and conditioning is something else. Conditioning and training is something totally different. Rehab is making sure you get healthy. Conditioning and training is improving on your shortcomings. He's only had one full season in National Basketball Association. I'm not making excuses. These are the realities of the situation. Back the hell up off him. As my man Jungle would say, stand down on people who tell him Ben Simmons. Does he need to work on the jump shot? Yeah. But much like Shaq and the great Will Chamberlain said, until you can stop this dunk, I'm going to keep dunking. So, point blank period. Big ups to Elton Brand. And let me move over to the much maligned and much ignored problems that are going on with one of my favorite teams, a team that I attribute to saving the National Basketball Association. That's right, I said it. Saving the National Basketball Association. That's one Golden State Warriors. Before the Golden State Warriors came into prominence, remember, you guys are sports fans. A lot of us had shows back then. People were knocking LeBron for hitting the wide open guy and making the right play. The Golden State Warriors made their name on that. Now, when you talk about coaches that are in too deep, Steve Kerr is in too deep. This is to the point to whereas I am the most staunch critic of one Phil Jackson. I am going to back up off my position saying Phil Jackson is one of the most overrated coaches in the history of the game, and I just say he top 10. But this is the problems that Steve Kerr are incurring are problems that Pat Riley, Casey Jones, Mark Jackson, Doc Rivers, and a whole Chuck Daly, and other coaches of that ilk, Greg Popovich, they don't face. Because at this point, he's getting fed up. He said he's sick of Draymond Green shit. He was caught on film saying, I'm sick of Draymond Green shit. And Draymond Green probably is draining. But you know what, Steve? It was cute when you was winning. It was cute when you was winning. The problem is this. And this is the biggest problem in the league. With the Golden State Warriors right now, in my opinion. The problem with the Golden State Warriors is the responsibility that once was Draymond Green's is no longer Draymond Green. The reason his offense is off is because everything in athletics and by and large a lot of things in life are rhythmic. You do things in rhythm. There is a continuity to everything you do. When I walk in my house, I have a landing, I leave my keys, I take out my wallet, I leave them right there. So when I put on my coat, as I walk out my door the next day, I grab my keys and my wallet, I walk out. I go batshit when those keys, my kids come past, or one of my homeboys come past and knock them over, somebody come by and knock the shit out the way, I'm lost because I have a routine. The routine used to be get the ball off the rim, run down court. Draymond Green orchestrates the offense, put everybody in the places they need to be, and the Golden State Warriors were a machine. It worked for the last 2 years. But now they're doing more ISO ball, and Kevin Durant is demanding the ball. Again, this is much like the Kyrie Irving situation. Is Kevin Durant at fault because he has the ability to do these things? No, he is not at fault. But you have thrown off one Draymond Green. You've thrown him off his game. And this is why the Golden State Warriors are not functioning properly. Draymond Green is trying to play the good soldier, but he's frustrated because Kevin Durant is doing what he used to do. And you cannot say that, thank you, Vince, you cannot say he's wrong for it because Kevin Durant can do everything you can do. But you cannot have two people doing the exact same things without one of them suffering. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, those are two of the greatest players we've ever seen, and that's why it worked. But Draymond Green is not one of the greatest players we've ever seen, and Kevin Durant is. So Draymond Green is out of sorts. And because he's out of sorts, the Golden State Warriors are at a deficit because their whole situation is rhythm. You come in and it's rhythm. And what they're going to do is blame this on one Boogie Cousins because the Golden State Warriors defense is slipping. The Golden State Warriors defense, in my opinion, is slipping because of Boogie Cousins. The Golden State Warriors defense is slipping because you've had coaches around the league step their game up. For the first 3 or 4 years, the first 4 years of this Golden State dynasty, you had people attempting to shoot with them. And now they are playing their game and forcing them to deal with them as well. They're not, why the teams have stopped trying to shoot with Steph Curry and start making Steph Curry the target of their offense. That's why Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum consistently have good games against them, because you cannot hide him on one of them. Because if you put him on CJ gonna cook his ass, and vice versa. If you put him on Dan, whoever he's standing in front of, they gonna get him. And that's why that train is slowing down. As well as Rabbit is on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant pays too close attention to the media. He gives a damn what people think and say about him too much to be that fucking good. He is way too good a ball player to have rabbit ears like that. And when you have rabbit ears like that, you suffer the consequences. And that's what the problem, in my opinion, that's the problem with the Golden State Warriors. They have too many people trying to do the exact same thing. And when you have too many people doing the exact same thing, what happens is chaos. It used to be a controlled chaos, but the thing is, Kevin Durant, in my personal opinion, is complacent now. He's comfortable because I got my championships. I got my finals MVP. And now he's worried about trying to be the best player in the world. Bruh, you can't become the best player in the world. Either you are or you aren't. You can't ever be the best player in the world simply because the same reason they never said Kobe Bryant was the best player in the world. He might have been the best player in the league at one point. He was Mamba mentality and all that, but he was never the face of the league because Kobe Bryant did not enter. First of all, he was copying Jordan for the first few years he was in the league. He was being a copy of Michael Jordan. No one wants a copy. They want the original. Second thing is when you're copying something and then you become into your own as an adult and you start becoming an asshole, again, nobody wants to do that. They love the way you play. They love your attack mode. They love your tenacity, but people didn't embrace you. LeBron is the face of the league. Before him, it was Shaq. Before him, it was Michael Jordan. Before him, it was Magic and Larry. These are people, well, actually Magic Johnson, because Larry wasn't engaged in either. Kevin Durant is going to be the Larry Bird of this generation. Excellent ball player, MVP, best player in the world, considered by most, but you'll never be the face of the league because you don't engage. If you don't engage, you can't be that. That's why Joel Embiid, while being one of the best players in the league, he engages. He's friendly. He's welcoming. He handles the media versus being surly. KD, until you pick up that attribute, you'll never be the face of the league because the face of the league cannot be an angry man. Point blank, period. And that is why people like myself and number one Chief Rocker Jersey Vern are predicting that the Golden State Warriors will meet their demise because there's too much chaos in that situation. I don't think Clay is going anywhere. I do believe Draymond is there for another year anyway, and then they'll have more continuity. They'll be able to return back. They'll be able to return to the original alliteration of the Golden State Warriors, and they'll be back. But I don't believe they're going to win this season. This leads me to my final close-out topic today. Racial epithet at basketball games. The dominant society is trying to brush this under the table, and it really annoyed the hell out of me that this man was able to say some racially insensitive things, and mainstream media did not. They half-assed address the way this man allegedly spoke to Russell Westbrook. They brought up the fact that he had racial tweets. They brought up the fact that in the past he's been antagonistic to Russell Westbrook. They even brought it to a head as if Russell Westbrook attempted to attack this dude. They didn't talk about what he said. They didn't address this properly. What they did do was turn this into a feminist issue. I have a mother, obviously. I have more aunts than uncles. I have a daughter, and I have women who are nieces and women who are my friends. I am, whereas we joked earlier in the show that I was the bully and I was the gooch, since I've become an adult, actually since I was about 14 years old, I have been a champion for people who got bullied. I've after I matured, after I came into puberty, and me and my homegirl Miss Unique, aka Jeanette Scanias, made peace, I stopped picking on people, and I started picking on people who picked on people. So I have no tolerance for bullies. The reason I'm saying this is this: this is not an issue about Russell Westbrook threatening this man, saying you and your wife. That's bravado. That's false bravado that you spewed in the midst of anger. He didn't walk towards this man. He just was saying this. It was a veiled threat. Let's not talk about what he said. Let's talk about why he said what he said. See, you're listening to a person who had anger management issues in his past. At any time you have anger management issues, it does not mean that you are a loose cannon. What it does mean is this: you are easily triggered. And is Russell Westbrook easily triggered? Yes, indeed he is. But that has no bearing on what happened last night. You should not be faced with racial epithet, sexual epithet, gender bias, or anything at your place of employment. As a matter of fact, if you go to work and you are faced with any of those things, you can sue your place of employment for a hostile work environment. And if the NBA was truly serious about dealing with this, the Players Association would file a grievance, much like Colin Kaepernick did, for a unsafe work environment. Because you shouldn't be subject to anything outside of you're a scrub, you're a bum, and things of that nature. I doubt if any player in the history of the world has issue with this. This is an issue that goes back as far as I know, when Vernon Maxwell was forced to listen to some idiot in Portland yell at him about a stillborn child of his. Why are you allowed to yell something like that and still be in the crowd? You shouldn't be. You got James Dolan that barred a man for yelling, "You should sell a team." You can't come and told him, enjoy watching the game from the crib going forward. He kicked out Charles Oakley because Charles Oakley was critical of the way he ran the team. Now Charles Oakley can't watch, but you can't kick out racists, bigots, sexists, and Zionists. That shit is crazy. My sister Mocha said, I blame the president with this Make America Great bullshit. Folks think they can do and say anything to black folks. Shout out to Mocha Bella. Thank you for participating in the show. Much love. And she's correct. Due to the state of the country today, we have had a heightened sense of entitlement, not by our co-workers that are from other cultures, not by our significant others from other cultures, not by our friends from other cultures, but it is showing us that those people like they consider us are in the minority, and the people who are assholes and filled with hate make up the majority of the country. We, like in other instances, like when you point to one person from our community and say, see, he making us all look bad. What we've done in reverse is our significant others, our friends, our co-workers, and our family members that are from other cultures, we attribute their good to the vast majority of the population. And that's just not it. Because if the vast majority of the people in the United States of America were clear thinking and fair, we wouldn't be in this racial situation that we're in today. Point blank, period. But we didn't address the fact that this man is throwing around racial epithet and being very disrespectful to this man at work. We focused as a community, focused on the fact that he threatened the man's wife. Did he walk towards the man? Did he present any physical threats to this man? No, he didn't. He just said something. Just like the man just said something to him. So while you have people on radio and television more than likely all day saying, well, see, it was messed up, but he should have never threatened a woman. Don't address why I acted out. Address what triggered me. Because if you don't trigger me, then I won't act out. That's the problem in the world today. If you don't call me nigga, if you don't call the Latino people, Spanish people in charge, if you don't call the Jewish people the term that they call them, if you don't call Italian people the term that's offensive to them, if you don't call Irish people the term that offend them, if you don't call other people from other cultures any racial epithet, then you won't have to worry about a threat